Okay, so what happens, are you guys done with the gay stuff, or?
Alright guys, I'm gonna react to this video. It's entitled Gay Marriage, Biblical Mistranslation. I'm not sure who's on this panel, but it's very intriguing, so let's get right into it.
And I've heard a lot of people say that gay marriage and gay relations are just mistranslations of the verses, like Romans, the ones in the Old Testament. Do you think they're mistranslations and the Bible is saying that they don't ever just talk about gay marriage or gay relations in general? Or do you think that they're mistranslations?
Yeah, so the accusation is usually that the word homosexuality.
Alright, okay. It's already kind of starting off, you know, a little rough. Not rough, just a little bit, a little bit on the edge. I feel like the Bible's very, very clear on this, and I feel like people try to almost be too smart and try to make things make sense in their own way to fit their personal feelings. And I'm not, this is no bashing, this is no bashing. This is no, no hate speech. No, not at all. I believe all sin, the Bible says all sin is equal. So whether someone's lying and gossiping or someone's gay or homosexual, like it's all sin. Like if I think about a curse word in my mind, I curse in my mind or I curse out loud, it's a sinful thing. It's a sin. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing as lying or same thing as being gay. It's just different things seem bigger than other things. But I feel like the Bible is very, very, very clear on this. But let's see what they say. Let's see what this guy says, or whoever else speaks on this topic. It's a very hot topic, obviously. But I think a very, very intriguing. It's a good topic.
It gets incorporated into the Bible in like the modern era. So the words in Hebrew in the Old Testament Leviticus, Paul, particularly in 1 Corinthians 7, plays off of what the Greek translation of the Old Testament has and uses this word arsenokoites, which literally means to lie down a man with a man. And so I think it's not a mistranslation because the concept is there. Like what it's talking about is not obscure. It might be controversial, but it's not obscure in the Hebrew and Greek. The accusation is usually that it's not talking about like same-sex sex. It's talking about something like men sleeping with boys or temple prostitution.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really rationalize that. There's a guy named Robert Gagnon. That's your last name.
Yeah.
Robert Gagnon. Except do you say Gagnon?
Yeah, these people don't understand.
Wait, hold on. Is this guy about to justify homosexuality?
No. So Robert Gagnon is a scholar. He did his dissertation. He taught at Princeton for a while on this, like the linguistic and cultural context of homosexuality in the Bible. So his is kind of like the volume. So he goes through all this stuff.
Why are you laughing at that?
And talks about.
Because Mark comes from a long line of people.
You got him right.
Long line of croissants. We just call them croissants.
Yeah, you just call them croissants.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
So he's a croissant historian, and then what did he find out?
Well, these concepts are like if you went back to Moses and you had two dudes and said, we want to get married, Moses is
Like
not,
for what?
What?
He would say for what?
Yeah, well, that wouldn't he'd be like, that's not what marriage is.
Oh, yo, I can imagine that, bro. I can imagine. Oh my God. And Moses was like, nah, like, why do y'all want it? For what, bro? That is freaking hilarious. Oh my God. For what? That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like it's just because the word homosexuality exists now in English.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that the concept isn't there
Back in the day
within the Bible. Yeah.
So within the Bible, it was frowned upon, even like whatever translation, whatever contextually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens, are you guys done with the gay stuff, or?
I think a lot of what we're dealing with in the culture of where we're living in right now, when it comes to gay marriage or anything gay related, is like how it's seen and dealt with is in my opinion a byproduct of the church. in my opinion, right? You can say I'm wrong, it's fine. But how I see like the church historically has never dealt with anything gay properly. It never has, and it's the church's fault. Like, I'm not, it's maybe a hot topic, I don't know, but the way, gay or whatever is being seen right now, and how it's so much of like a battle and a hate thing and a hate this, hate that, and why people hate Christians so much because of it is because the church back then didn't handle these things properly with love the way I think Jesus would. So now we have people who hate Christians, who hate church, who hate God, because the church never dealt with those scenarios in people's hearts properly back then. So now it's more of a hate thing now. So I think a lot of what we're seeing, the backlash, the confusion, the misconceptions, the whatever, is that the church, not God, the church, people in church, I don't believe didn't handle and love people the way Christ would have loved people. Not saying they were to just excuse it, do what you want. No, but there's a level of love and a level of love and security and safety that should have been in the church in these scenarios that wasn't there. So yeah, that's what I think. I think the church glorified gay as this insanely like wrong sin that is like the worst thing you can ever do in life is be that. But they just scoff past lying. They scoff past adultery. They scoff past gossip. They scoff past idol worship, idling things. People in church, like I feel like the reason why we're in this all-time war and people hate Christians and Christians hate, because I think the church back then, any era, did never handle these scenarios well, and were hypocrites when it came to what they allowed to happen, what they didn't want or didn't, whatever would occur. They allowed their own hypocrisy to get in the way of different things that I believe love would have solved that love would have solved easily if the church handled things better back then. So I think that what's happening right now, the misconceptions, the confusion, is a part to do with, yes, the world is the world and people do what they want, which is fine, cool. But a lot of it is to do with the church not handling these scenarios in the church properly, which now people hate God and hate the church because people didn't handle things back then, right? That's my opinion on the matter. I'm going to finish this video and tap into it a little more, whatever they're talking about next. But it's that's how I feel about this for the most part, is that it's rough out here, and no sin is worse than any other sin. But I think the past people have made it bigger or less or whatever, and made things confusing and made things become a hate speech and a hatred scenario. That makes sense. Comment in the comments your thoughts on this, guys. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, there's no hate. Do I think being gay is wrong? Yeah, I do. I think it's wrong. Am I not going to hang out with you? No, I'll hang out with you. Am I not going to love you? Yeah, I love you. Am I not going to like this? The same way I think being gay is wrong, it's the same way I think getting drunk is wrong. They're both wrong. Like, the same way I think being gay is wrong is the same way I think lying is wrong. They're both wrong. The same way I think, watch this. The same way I think being gay is wrong is the same way I think Micah John playing games all day and not putting time into my word and prayer and like idolizing games and TV and anime. That's the same wrong. They're both wrong. They're both wrong. So I think we got to start seeing things as, man, like, what is taking me further from God? That's wrong. No matter what it is, that's wrong. So that's how I feel about it, guys. Yeah, let's see what happens next in this video. All right, guys, this video is done. All right, yo, that is it. They didn't go too in depth with it like I thought they would in this video. But it was still a solid video, still a solid talk. Give me your thoughts, guys, in the comments on what y'all think about gay marriage, what you think about the Bible, what it says in the Bible. Let's have a nice little talk in the comment section, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.